gonna talk about my final research project on suicide analysis.
Okay.
So, why suicide analysis? According to Wikipedia, there are 800,000 people suicide every year, which is a lot. So, being a data engineer, I have decided to take a step on how to tackle this problem or how we can contribute to the problems that affects the society. So that's the reason why I have chosen suicide analysis. The area and topic of research is it's all about how to make a dash app and on suicide uh, figures all around the world and to dynamically make predictions on the app itself and visualize it, and all these figures has to be coming from the backend as well. So it's all about doing a research completely on suicide analysis. And there is a lot going on in the app. The main part is visualization, which is why visualization is because human brains are made in a way that it can take 90% of the information for human brain is interpreted in the form of visual. So anything we show to the humans as visuals will be captured easily. So visualizations are stronger tools for humans to understand the data, and it is the most powerful thing in data analysis. There have been numerous studies have been happened in the past, though I have created an app which is quite different from the previous studies or whatever has been already done. It's because my app is working on predictions of countries that has been affected by suicides. All this information has been added to the database by backend admins concurrently, and the predictions are done every week based on that, which is never been done in the past. So my study is going to make something new and create an impact on the data analysis society. And the social impact is definitely so we are doing something for the society. We are trying to make a change and uh, contribute to um, the moral side, because whatever we create is going to help people understand the underlying issue. So definitely this is something we are doing for the social development as well. So we know that, for example, if we have find anything that related to human lifestyle or drinking habits, which is already done in the thesis. So we have found that in Russia, there are a lot of drinking habits of men population has been affected. So such things is going to definitely make an improvement on the society. So that's another thing of that. And the ethical concept, definitely we are using a strong front-end framework called Python-App, which is built on top of Plotly Python library, which is again a strong data analytics tool providing a proper data storage, data manipulation and visualization in a safer side. On the other hand, in the backend, we are using PHP Laravel framework, which is having a lot of advancement with respect to data securities. For example, there is a token called CSRF token that is concurrently being run on every page, which is affecting any intruder or like people who is trying to hack the site or app. So there's a lot of data security going and ensured in the project, and the privacy of the data. We are not doing any handling any personal data in our project. So the data privacy has been ensured throughout the completion of the project, and also um, the ethical responsibility has been maintained. Uh, all the uh, all the process has been done professionally with respect to data safety, security, and privacy. So the responsibility of an engineer has been maintained throughout the project as well. Technologies and method, there is a lot going on. As I said before, there is a lot of prediction factors. That's one of the main thing in the dash app. So we're using time series and machine learning model. We have done initial analysis and a live analysis on the app as well using these technologies. Also MySQL database architecture. The storage has been done in MySQL, and the PHP Laravel admin panel control for CRUD operations. Python dash app again as mentioned already, and the CSS bootstraps for design and styling, and Git version control technology, SSH configuration, which is again another step in data architecture. That is another technology, and CRISP methodology has been maintained from beginning data collection to deployment. So all the cycle has been followed properly, as you can see in the picture. And this is just a view of the admin panel. That is the first thing I'll just show you in the app itself. So these are the graphs we have. These are the insights we got from the data. You can see Russia, Hungary, and Ukraine has been more affected with suicides per 100K. The reason for taking suicides per 100K instead of suicides is because the different countries have different populations. So taking suicides per 100K make more sense with respect to the ratio. And if you see on the right side graph, there is a lot going on with 35 to 54 years old. A lot of people are affected by it. And of course, in a quick glance, you can understand male population is more affected. And this is GDP per capita, 100,000. You can see the moderate group, moderate GDP per capita has a clustering there. So there's a bit of relation going on there. And suicide per 100K in different countries over the years. You can see Ireland, Russian, Hungary, and Ukraine. There's a lot of difference between these European nations because of the economic and social situations staying in those countries. So I have clearly studied those countries and find out that people in Russian and Ukraine having a lot of conflicts in terms of their habits, drinking habits, and all, as I mentioned before. This is another page to talk about different generations. I will show you in the app itself to make more sense there. And the data integrity page, this is to just, so the reason for keeping this page is because we are trying to add more data into the database every time. Even in the future, more data will be added. So just to have an idea of how many outlets are present in the data. So the users doesn't know that is the data is really completely cleaned, or is there any outlier present in the data. So we are running the model every week just to know that how much data has been present. So that will be very useful for the page visitors. And these are the different models. This is models run on Ireland. So you can see how the predictions has been changed with respect to each model, Serimax, profit model, and customer model. According to my study, Serimax has made some sort of improvement and made better predictions. This is a feedback section where we have not only doing an app, but also covering, taking feedback from the customers just to improve in the future. So we are covering all the aspect of an application and bringing it to the backend as well. Before that, I just quickly show you the dashboard and other pages. So this is the dashboard page. Taking a while. This is the section for feedback. So from here also you can click on feedback section and reach here, and you can type anything, then submit. It will be sent to the backend. So this is the email I have created now, and it's working fine. And also there will be an email sent to the user who has created the feedback. So another thing is there is a page for forecasting models. So you can choose any country from the list and the prediction will be changed according to that. And there is an about section as well, where you can see some details about the app itself. And there's an overview session. We can play around with it and see suicides in 100K over the years. There's a lot of data being loaded. That's why it's taking a while to load. And there is a data view page as well.
Yeah, Sujit, let it load. Okay,
All right. Okay.
so we can have some discussion,
Okay.
and then we'll come back to it. So first, you have said that you are doing an analysis on suicide, right?
Yeah.
So what is the definition of suicide according to you? Like, you must have gone through the formal definitions as well. So
Okay.
what do you mean by suicide?
Suicide is something which make a person to kill, think about killing themselves. That's the intention to kill someone's themselves is suicide. So
Okay.
it could be of many reasons because also of the social backgrounds or economic pressure. Or it could be of many reasons. So that's what we are trying to figure out here.
Yeah. So you have done the whole analysis. So
Yeah.
what do you think? What is the prominent reason for suicide? Is it
So
social, economic, or political, or what? What is the
so
reason according
so
to you?
according to the study I have done, we cannot say that this is the general idea, or this is the root cause of the death. In general, we cannot say that. But what we can say is, in different countries, different social and economic situations remain. So each country has different kinds of situations. Studying the data, for example, in Russia and Ukraine and Hungary, the reasons for suicides were so different from other countries. For example, there were a lot of men population addicted to drinking and leading them to commit suicide. In some of the countries, the military, due to the pressure from the military, they have been committing suicide
So,
during an era.
okay,
So,
so how did you reach to this conclusion that drinking habits are leading towards suicide?
so we have
Have you shown it anywhere in the graph, or have you
uh,
done any analysis for that?
we haven't done any analysis on drinking habits because the data was not available. But we have checked the time in which the suicides have been happened, and we have done analysis, research on Google and on the web to identify what was happening in that era. So that's how we figure
What
it
was
out.
that? So just show me where it was shown on the graph, like the timeline for that. I
Okay.
want to see the trend.
I'm sorry. Let me go to the. So if you see this one, the pink, the dark pink line, but maybe the violet
Okay,
line, it shows that there is a lot suicide happened in this time between
so
1990 to
1994,
2000.
right?
Yeah, 1994, around 1994 to 2004. So I have done analysis about this time, what was happening in Russia. So there was lot of studies previously done has shown that there was a lot of drinking habits affecting people at this time.
So okay, so I think alcohol was introduced at this particular point of time. Is it
Yeah,
so, or is there something else?
there was a social change happening in Russia as well. Like people had there was no support from the government, and they were having a lot of psychological issues. Like they were not their happiness and all those things happening during the time. The life was not well settled like what we have in Russia today. So there was a lot going on in the society. So the people were not people are trying to get rid of these tensions, and they were addicted by that time. Lots going in the country, so that is the reason.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, you said that you are using some crisp, and there was some DM, right? What is this technology? Tell me, what is this
Uh,
crisp?
Acrosteam is a methodology which we follow in the data analysis and research in data science world. Crispdium is the one of the most important methodologies people follow. That is a standard one for the data analysis. We start from data collection, then we go for understanding the data. We prepare the data. We use modeling, and we evaluate the model, and finally we find the conclusions and we deploy it. Those are the steps
So
involved in it, and this is the standard
what is
practice.
this? Yeah, what is this name suggest? Crisp. So I think like there should be some full form kind of thing, right? So
um
C
uh,
or N. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer that question, unfortunately. um, but this is the idea of this DM. I'm not able to tell you the full form of that. I'm sorry about that.
And what about this term CRUD? You used CRUD
Okay, so
operation.
CRUD operation is create, read, update, and delete. I'm sorry for not mentioning it. It's like maintaining the data. Like for example, we are adding the data, we are reading the data, we are updating it, deleting it. So this is a CRUD operation in terms of database.
Okay. I want to understand here the term number 6. So you said you have written that SSH
Yeah.
uh, configuration. So why you are using this SSH configuration? Can you have a direct connections with server? Like what is the thing that you are doing here?
So SSH server is giving us an interface to communicate with the server. So currently I'm using VPS server, which is purchased especially for my dissertation. So it's from Mosha House, a US company. So I'm connecting from my local machine to the interface of the virtual server. So we can connect and like prepare the server. For example, uh, when I'm talking about my app, Python dash app, I had to deploy it on the server. So I had to do preparation, like there was no Python packages installed, there is no PIP in the environment. So in order to get that interface or facilitate ourselves in getting into the server, that's the link between the server and the computer system. So that's why we are using SSH. And
Okay.
there is one of the famous one which is called Putty that is used to do the SSH commands.
Okay. So tell me, you said that you are collecting data, right? So
Yeah,
without data, this whole analysis will not be there, right?
yeah.
So what is the source of your data? And you also mentioned that you have taken care of not getting the personal data. So what is the definition of personal data as per you? Are there any protection laws or some norms that you are following to make sure that you are not violating
So
any privacy policies uh,
yeah,
of the clients that are contributing to
yeah.
your
So
data?
here what we are following is GDPR. That's a
Okay.
European standard of data protection. So we are following GDPR, and we are when we talk about personal data, we are not having any personal demographics. We are not taking any personal information like their name, gender, ethnicity, or anything. That's the basic thing in terms of personal information. We are not
But you
touching
are
any.
having gender, right? You are having a
So
gender attribute on your data set,
definitely, that's what
and
I'm
you are
coming
also
to.
having the age. Yeah.
Yeah. So since we are having the age and gender, it has nothing to do with the personal data because all the data is already aggregated into a general form, like a country and year and age and sex. These are required for the study. But on the other hand, we are not having a person or a personal information involved in this study.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, please go to that data integrity page. I want to see on the app.
On the app. Yeah. Just a moment. There is something going on there. So the app has been stored. I think because of the overloaded data, I can fix it now. I have just restarted the app on the server.
Yeah, but it was running on the server, right?
Yes, I think there was a lot of tabs opened at the same time, and currently it's having like more than 13,000 records. So it's just having a server limitation. So I have to restart it. So this is a page for data integrity.
Okay. So what is the basis on which you are removing the outliers? So these are the orange points are the outliers, right?
Yeah.
And these the other points are good points. So what is the basis on by using which you are removing this outlier?
So the outliers are removed using periodic outlier detection, and we are using the clustering. We are using the nearest neighbor. So those points are outside this nearest neighbor is considered as outliers. So we have
Okay,
a number
I
of.
want to I want to know now the definition of outliers, because you are talking about the outliers and you are saying that something about neighborhood. So can you please define what is outlier and how outlier is different from the noise? These points can be noise also. What is the algorithm that you are using to detect them?
We were using DB scan, that is unsupervised machine learning algorithm, to detect the outliers. And
Okay.
the outliers are between, like when we are, for example, if we take box plot, we have first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and fourth quartile. This points that comes outside the third quartile and second quartile is being considered as outliers. So it has to be near to the median or mean of the data.
Okay. So
So
you are
those
saying
points.
that. So I think you're talking about the interquartile range method
Yeah.
that we
Yes.
generally apply. Okay.
Yes.
So in
Yes.
interquartile range, you must be knowing the formula for that, how we basically remove the outlier. Can you tell me?
I'm not able to
So we
recall it
usually say,
now.
okay, so let me just tell you. Okay, so
Yeah.
in IQR method, what we do, we take that, we say that if we are having our Q3, okay,
Uh-huh.
the third quartile, then
Yeah.
we take Q3 and we add 1.5 of IQR. That is the difference between Q3 and Q1. We
Yeah.
take that difference and we add that. We take 1.5 times of that and we add it on the Q3. Okay,
Okay.
and similarly we do with the Q2 also. We take the Q1 and we subtract 1.5 times of IQR
Yeah.
from Q1, and then we get some range, and the range comes to be like five one 2 point I think 2.57 sigma.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so it will cover, like, from both the direction, it will be something like that, and it will be covering say, I guess 99.3 or somewhat percentage of the data. But why
Okay.
we have taken 1.5 here? So as you said that you are not able to recall it, I gave the formula to you.
Okay.
So you should be able to tell me what is the reason of choosing 1.5 as a multiple to IQR when we are doing this IQR methodology to remove the outliers.
Sorry, I'm not able to answer that question.
Okay, it's okay. So, so you are using DB scan, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not aware of this whole algorithm. Can you just explain me what is the full form of DB scan and how it works? Because right now I'm not able to get uh, what is basically. I can also choose like 2 or 3 points, and I can just give them a different color, and I can say that these are the outliers. So it's kind of black box to me. So you need to explain me what is happening actually inside this whole algorithm, and how you are deciding that these points will be the outlier.
Okay, so in the DB scan we are like making clusters of data. We are dividing the class into different clusters. If a point is near to a particular distance of, like, we have the data has been spread into several points, and the clusters of data we have set a limit for the point. If
How are you making the clusters? So it's I guess show me the data itself. So you have some database also, right? So just open it in a tab, in new tab, please. Yeah. So this data is multi-dimensional data, right? It's not two-dimensional data.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
you cannot see it visually that, okay, this is how uh, it is represented on the graph, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what is the metric that you are choosing here to make the clusters in DB scan?
So we are taking suicide in 100K, and
Okay,
uh,
that's fine. Okay, you are taking a lot of parameters, and you are saying that you are going to make the clusters.
yeah,
But when we talk about the cluster, or we talk about that the point is not included in the cluster, then there should be some parameter on which we are deciding that this point will not come to the cluster. Or if you are talking about the neighborhood, I'm just simplifying it a bit.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you are talking about the neighborhood, then there should be some metric which is measuring that neighborhood, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what is that you are using?
We are setting a number, like we are setting a size, the distance, the minimum distance in the code, and only that's what I can say. I mean, I'm not able to give you a complete explanation of that. For some reason, I'm not able to picturize it in my brain. But this is how we do it. We give in while coding, we give the distance in the DB scan algorithm, and we set the distance,
Okay.
and the algorithm works according to that distance.
There is another algorithm, right? So the algorithm is known as KNN.
Yeah.
Okay. So why haven't you used that algorithm? Why you chose this DB scan?
DB scan is so Canon is mostly used for classification problems. Mostly it's an unsupervised algorithm as well, but it's mostly used for classifications and like decision tree classifier. It's a different genre. So DBScan is most useful for this kind of scenarios, like finding out outliers and all those things.
Okay, so you are saying that this KNN is used for classification, right?
Yeah.
Can you define what is classification?
So, for example, if we have a student score in a school, like for example, we need to classify a student who have good score and bad score. Let's say that we are putting a parameter on their scores are with students with score more than 60% is like good students or excellent students, and people students with less than 60 is bad students. So we using KNN classification, we can classify them according to their score, the mark sheet. So we can classify good students and bad students, for example.
But just now you said that it's a unsupervised machine learning algorithm, right?
Yeah,
So you cannot say that it's a good, better, or excellent
yeah,
because you don't have the labels, right?
yeah,
So if you don't have the labels, then how can you use it for classification? KNN is unsupervised machine learning algorithm. It should be used for clustering, right?
yeah,
Where you don't know the clusters. And DB scan is also the same. So where you are not knowing that what will be the label on the data. So you need to cluster the data.
yeah,
So I feel like both are doing the same task. But
yeah,
why you have chosen the DB scan in place of KNN? You could have used the KNN also, right?
yeah.
And please tell me how many clusters you are getting after running the DB scan on your algorithm, on your data set, sorry. Uh, okay, so yes, yeah, just please explain.
Um, I don't know how many clusters are there in the data, but we have given like for the for the value we have given three. We have
So
said
yeah,
three.
so right now it's like it's just a finished product that I can see, right?
Yeah,
So there must be something where you have worked out the results and you find out that these are the clusters. There should be some threshold that you are basically placing so that you
yeah.
can remove the outliers. Can I see that? Because it will give me a more insight and the whole working that you have done.
Okay. Sorry, it's not here.
Have you checked on the distribution of the data that your data set is following?
You mean if it is having a skewness or something?
Yes, yes.
So we have used in the initial analysis, everything has been checked. So the after that, the data has been cleaned and imported to the database. So it has
So
been already
initially,
checked.
okay, so before making this outlier analysis,
Yeah.
what was the distribution of the data?
Um, the data was having a random distribution. Sometimes it was not equally distributed.
No,
So
I'm not getting this sometime because see the data is fixed, right? You are having the data set.
yeah,
So you cannot say that it sometimes it was having the random distribution and sometimes it was having some other distribution. So
like
if
in
the
the
data set
beginning.
is fixed, yeah, in the beginning, just before making this outlier analysis,
Yeah,
what was the distribution that this data set was
it has
following?
it was skewed to the right, like positive distribution, positively skewed.
Okay, have you checked the distribution for each countries? What was the distribution it was following? Were there
Um,
any kind of biasness?
so I haven't done that for a specific country, but before in the pre-processing data preparation stage, I have checked the skewness and I have corrected it there.
No, why I'm saying this? Understand it.
Yeah,
See, whenever you are doing this outlier detection,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So when you will be doing this outlier detection by using IQR method, let's suppose,
yeah,
then IQR will remove the outliers based on that bell-shaped curve that you are having.
yeah.
It will say that I'm just going to remove the, let's say, 1% of the data, or 7%, 2%, whatever the threshold you'll be setting.
Hmm.
It will be removing that particular part of the data set
Yeah,
by by accepting the hypothesis that your data is normally distributed.
yeah.
Okay, here you
Okay.
are using DB scan.
Yeah,
So you are following some sort of a special arrangement. You are clustering the data, okay, and then if the data points are not available on the clusters, then you will be saying that this is a boundary point or an outlier, and
okay,
that's how you are basically removing the outliers.
okay,
Now, my question is, like, before doing the outlier analysis, you should be knowing that there are outliers that are present. Okay, so if
okay,
your data before running this whole outlier analysis or outlier detection algorithm, if your data is itself normally distributed, then I feel like you are not required to run any kind of outlier detection. So
okay.
have you done this or not?
Um, I haven't done outlier removal on the raw data. It is done after. I mean, for before just making the model. So in the modeling stage, the outliers are removed and the skewness have been removed. So it's not done in the initial stage.
Yeah, that is what I'm asking. When you are saying that whatever the skewness that was present in the data
Hmm.
for a country, it was removed. So
Yeah,
before removing those outliers that were basically contributing towards the biasness or skewness that was present on the data,
yeah.
before that, have you checked that whether the data is normally distributed, or does it have some sort of skewness or not?
I haven't
That is
checked
my
on the
question.
raw data. Basically, no, no.
Okay,
On the raw data, no, no.
okay, fine. So yeah, so I want to know about the models that you are using.
Yeah,
So please open the forecasting page.
yeah.
Yeah. So how many models, how many forecasting algorithms you are using? And
Um,
you are repeatedly you are saying that you have done the predictions, and here you are writing that you have done the forecasting. Can you
yeah.
quickly tell me what is difference between prediction and forecasting?
Forecasting is normally used for sequential data like time series problems. Prediction is more
Okay.
about general predictions like machine. When we talk about machine learning, we usually say that is about predictions like machine learning algorithms.
Okay. Can you give some example? Because definition is not clear to me.
So, for example, last year we have last 5 years we have like around average people are dying around of age of 60, and so we want to know we are trying to forecast people going to die, what age of people are going to die in the next 5 years or 2 years. So that is forecasting. When we talk about prediction, we say that, for example, in a football, a team has been failed 10 times in a football match, in a football league, and we are trying to know that how many matches they are going to win in, uh, or we are just trying to measure which players are doing better. So that is prediction. We are trying to predict which players are performing well in the match. So something like that. That is prediction.
Okay, so based on the previous attributes and previous relationship between attributes and uh, between the features and target,
Yeah,
you are going to
basically.
predict
Yeah,
for the next target
yeah,
based on the attributes or the features that are available to you. That is
yeah,
basically prediction.
yeah,
And in forecasting, you can use the forecasted value again, so that you can get the next forecasting itself, right? So
Yeah,
you are just
exactly.
moving on the target variable itself.
Yeah,
And
sequential data. Yeah, yeah, on the target. Yeah.
okay, 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 okay. Yeah. So tell me how many models you are using here, and which model is performing better, why you have used it.
So we have used Serimax model and FP Profit and custom AR model. The Serimax model seems to make better predictions because most of the time the other models, I think it's because of overfitting or something, it gave me negative values as well. So that is empirically incorrect. We wouldn't say that there is negative values in suicide. So that's something vague about the other models. And Serimax gave me good RMSE score as well compared to the other models. The prediction seems to be more empirical. So
Okay, so let me see the RMSC score for other models. Yeah, open
so
FB
let me
Profit.
take Ireland.
No, take the same country. I want the same country with different models.
Okay, so Bulgaria. Cerimax 48, FD Profit 129, and custom AR. So this it's less likely to happen here, but most of the countries which I took was showing better RMC score with the
Okay, change
Cerimax.
change another country. I want to see another country.
So AR is 27.5, Cerimax is 12.96, and FP Profit is 24.75.
Okay, take maybe some different country. Maybe take New Zealand. New Zealand. Yeah.
Cerimax, custom AR.
Okay, okay. So overall, Cerimax is
And
performing well. Okay.
exactly, yes.
Okay, so tell me, I this is the last question I want to ask. Actually, I don't understand this custom AR. What is this? Is it something new that you have created?
Customer is yes, it's a customized algorithm as the name implies, as using linear regression as a linear regression algorithm and to predict values. So it's just newly made algorithm for me. Like I have made it.
Okay, okay, sure. I mean, obviously, it needs a bit more explanation.
Okay.
So you need to prepare on this also.
All right. Okay.
I
Sure.
feel like this over from my side. Okay,
Yeah.
so there can be a lot of questions based on, because I was thinking to keep this discussion more focused on your presentation and what is the things that I am looking at, right?
Okay.
I'm not going into the background knowledge or whatever the machine learning knowledge you are having.
Okay.
So okay, so I think the presentation will get over because here is the timer that is running, right?
Yeah.
So we can connect again and we can talk about. So
Okay.
I'll be
Okay.
giving the feedback to you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Well, everything is good. You have prepared well.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat? It's just started the recording. Sorry.
Yeah. So I feel like everything is good. You
Yeah.
have prepared everything very well. So just have some, like, whatever the words or whatever the key terms that you are using or you have written on the presentation. Because
Okay.
for me, the presentation was very simple. Like, you are not having a lot of information over there. So whatever you will be saying
Yeah.
will have the weightage over there. Okay. So whatever you will be saying, they will be focusing on that, and whatever the terms that you have used,
Okay.
okay, on the presentation, you should have a good understanding about those things,
Okay.
and you should be able to connect those terms with your project itself. Like I asked about the SSH, right?
Mm.
And you connected it very well, that you are having a server, so you need to have the secure shell to communicate with the server and to upload and download the things, right?
Okay.
So that was good. And uh, with that, like, if you are using this crisp DM uh, methodology also, then also you need to know how it is helping you, right?
Yeah.
Why you are using this, and what are the benefits that you are getting after using this particular methodology.
Oh, sure.
and then there can be a question on data security, because you have explained, you have given, I think, 40 seconds to 1 minute on explaining that you are using this Laravel infrastructure which provides a lot of data security. So they can ask that what kind of data security you are getting from that particular framework of Python,
Okay.
and how it is benefiting you basically. Okay.
Okay.
And uh, it's good that you have taken some background understanding as well. uh, so when I asked that why, the question can be framed like why you are getting a peak at 1994
Yeah.
on the suicide data. So you have a background knowledge on that people were drinking, people were having the drinking habits. They can connect it with the history also, that there was the disintegration of USSR, right? So it happened, I think, on
Yeah.
1991, I guess. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of political instability.
Yeah.
So people started drinking on, let's say, 1992, 1991,
Yeah.
and the long-term effect of drinking and consuming the toxic elements
Yeah.
were that they were getting died, or they were getting into the depression after 1 or 2 years. That is why the results are shown in
Yeah.
1994, not just on 1991.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you can connect a story behind it.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about the brain also, that human brain is very good in understanding the visualization.
Yeah.
uh, I believe that you should not be giving the numbers, as you mentioned that 90% of the uh, 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 things that are understood by human brain are due to the visualization, because there are research that contradict this thing also.
I see.
So
Okay.
just
Okay.
okay, so don't use the numbers here. You can say that in general people understand better when the things are shown to them in terms of the infographics,
Yeah.
or in terms of some story. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you can incorporate, like when you are presenting the things.
Yeah. Sure.
Now whenever you are presenting a graph, try to explain the correlation between the two attributes on which you have plotted. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are having something on x-axis, you are having something on y-axis, whenever you'll be showing the graph, people will not know what is going on. If they want to ask question, they will be looking on the graph, and they will have to apply a little bit of understanding to get what is going on in the graph. Okay.
Okay.
So before they ask anything, you can explain that this is the graph between this and this, and we can see there is a certain kind of trend or certain kind of thing that is going on, and then again you can have some background associated with it, like
Okay.
you associated the whole drinking habit and all,
Yeah.
the peak into 1994. Okay.
Yeah.
So have a bit, whatever the terms that you are using, you should be having good understanding on those terms.
Yeah.
Uh, have a knowledge on DB scan also, like
Yeah.
how it is working. Okay.
Yeah.
So and the full form itself tells a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So you memorize that, and you just try to, maybe if you have at that time, I think, is it an online presentation, or will it
No,
be
no.
offline?
It's face to face. Yeah. Face to face.
Okay, so you can use the whiteboard also, and you can just have a very simple example on
Yeah.
DB scan, and just explain the working, and plot the things, so they can understand that you have done the things on yourself, and you know what you are doing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that will give a better impression. Although overall, I'll say that it's if I'll be rating this whole presentation, then it will be right around 7 to 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can improve. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of scope on improvement. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the feedback from my side. And
Okay.
yeah, make sure that whatever the graphic that you are using on website, they
Yeah.
are they are not having any kind of copyright claim or something, right? So they
Okay.
should be royalty free images or something.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So
Or you have
some of the
created.
images, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it could be an image that you have modified or you have created on your own, or else, like maybe they can also ask, like, this is the rare thing, but they can also ask that, okay, look for this image on the internet. So they will just say that, okay, right click on the image and just have a Google search for this image, and if they will
Okay.
find that this image is copied, then it will not
So
be good.
one of the things mentioned by my ethics teacher was like whenever we are using, it's okay to use others images and stuff, but in the reference section, it's in the presentation. In the reference section, we can give the link. So I will try to make sure that all the images are given proper referencing, so that it's we are
Yeah,
not
that's okay, but that is only good for academic purposes when you are using the when you are making the presentation or using the things on some book. Okay, but if you are using the things on, let's say, on web page,
yeah.
then it will not be sufficient.
Okay, yeah, that
One
makes
thing that you need to take the permission, or else you need to use your own images. Okay, so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the point
sure.
here, what I'm saying. Okay,
Okay, sure. Yeah,
use like one time you also use that the back end and the front end is concurrently getting synchronized, some sort
yeah,
of, not, you haven't used this synchronization word, but you
yeah,
use this concurrency. Okay,
yeah,
concurrency term.
yeah,
So they can catch those terms, small terms, and they can ask the questions on that, on
yeah,
these terms. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
make sure whatever the terms that you are using,
yeah,
they are known to you. Okay,
yeah.
so I can also ask, like, what do you mean by concurrency? Uh, what is uh, uh, what is this concurrency problem in databases, in terms of databases?
Okay.
How we avoid those kind of problems? What are the locks, okay, that are there in parallel processing or something
Yeah,
else?
yeah,
They can frame a lot of questions. Okay,
yeah,
so whatever the terms you are using, you should be having some basic understanding. Okay, or else just explain that I haven't used these terms in that context.
yeah,
It's just a term that I wanted to say that these things will not, these things are happening together basically.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
can update also, and you can, at the same time, you can see that the dashboard can be used also at the same
yeah,
time,
yeah.
and from the backend you can update also.
Actually, that's what I
So
meant by concurrency.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it
So
words having both
it's
meanings?
yeah, it's a technical term also, like,
Yeah, it's a
why
technical.
I'm mentioning here, because in the DBMS, database management systems,
Yeah,
there are terms uh, with the concurrency. So there are
yeah.
many terms
Many
in
times,
terms
yeah.
of
Transaction.
data sharing. Yeah,
Yeah, rollback and
so
anything.
that is why I just mentioned it,
Yeah,
because
you're right.
I
You're
don't
right.
want,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I
correct. Yeah,
don't want that you are trapped over there.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so this is a feedback from my side. I think the
Just a
overall things
final
are good.
question. Can I ask you a question as well? Like,
Yeah,
so
sure.
when you mentioned on your feedback that a presentation having a lot of general idea, like lot of not much technical information, but it was like a simple language using a normal language, right? Not of technical stuff in there. So is it negatively? Is it affecting negatively, or is it's okay to use that kind of
The thing
language?
is, like, for me, as per my understanding, I feel like the presentation, the way you made it, is not totally okay. Actually, you have placed a lot of graphs. Okay,
Yeah,
the dashboard itself is your presentation.
yeah,
Okay, you can present your dashboard also on the
yeah.
presentation. The document or the presentation PPT that you are having with you, it should be giving some different information. Like
Okay,
last year also I said that you should not use the graphs here, because these graphs will be visible on the dashboard itself. So
yeah,
that dashboard will be showing the graphs. You
okay. So
should be
I will
having
just
some,
remove. I mean, I will just keep one page of graph in the presentation, and rest
yeah,
of the things I can show on the website.
yes, you can show the working of DB scan algorithm on your presentation
Okay,
with
okay.
some small example, right?
Yeah,
Uh, some dummy data set, and you can show the steps how it is working. You
yeah, yeah.
can show the step of custom ER, how you made it. Okay, those steps you can show,
Okay,
like, it's a choice. Okay, you can show the necessity, or what is the whole flow diagram that you are having for your uh, whole project, right? So you
yeah,
can explain the whole flow of your project, like
yeah.
you have done the there's a data maker file that is taking the data, then it is merging the data sets, then it is producing the output. Then
Okay,
you can just switch the screens, then show that, okay, sir, this is the thing that is happening, and here we are doing this. So it will be a technical thing that
okay, got
that
it.
can happen.
Okay,
And
got it.
in the presentation, you can also have something like, you are associating the things, like you have given the the reason for having a peak on year 1994. So you can have a flow diagram of different correlations, like, so drinking habit is creating the stress, and then the results are coming after 2 years, so people are dying. That is why in 1994, but disintegration of USSR happened in 1991. But due to the political instability, there was a lot of stress in terms of the economy, in terms of the rights, in terms of the social architecture of the country. So that is why, due to a lot of stress, people went and relied on the toxic chemicals, and like drinking habits, smoking, and that is why they got a lot more stressed and committed suicide
Yeah.
after having that experience for 2 years. So that kind of things you can show. Okay.
Okay.
As per now, in presentation, I cannot find a lot of things to discuss. That is why I'm relying on the terms that are written on the presentation. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. Understood. Okay. Okay. So we need to add more like technical, make it more technical, isn't it?
yeah. So it shouldn't be more technical, but it should be having some, some, at least something to talk about. Like, they should be finding something interesting to talk.
I see. All right. Got it.
That, yeah, that will be helpful for you.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Rest of the things are fine. That
Yeah.
is why I have given you 7 to 8 points out of 10, because you have the areas of improvement,
Yeah.
so you can work on those things. Okay.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Okay. Then this is it. Do you have any other question?
No, I just had the last question which I asked. That was main question. Like I had some doubt. I was doubting myself as on presentation. Like some of the slides were like need to be changed. So I will just
Yeah.
check with my supervisor on that, and yeah, I will definitely add something in it if possible to do now.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Right.
So
Thank you so much, Dave.
okay. So this project session is completed now.